The story of ByCat's 8840 and 8842 really go back to the mid-90s. It was appreciated that some catalysts for polyurethane were really toxic and causing some issues for consumers, particularly mercury. So we began to look at bismuth as a potential alternative to mercury. At that time, one of the first papers was from a fellow named John Arenovar, who worked at Shepherd at that time, demonstrating the capability that bismuth has to catalyze that reaction. It went, I wouldn't say quiet, but we had some sales for several years, and came to find a problem from our customers that were using the ByCats in systems that had significant amount of water in them. So water, which is used to blow the foams, was causing the bismuth to precipitate out of the polyol resin as oxide. And that oxide has a lot of great chemical features, but catalyzing polyurethane is not one of them. So we were challenged then to find a way to make bismuth compatible with water-based systems. Foams is the largest market for polyurethanes. So it was a research project that we had some resourcing on for over a decade. Finally got a hit a few years ago and came up with the water-soluble ByCats. Yeah, sure. What they are is a curative. So the isocyanate and the polyol are put together, and eventually they would react, but eventually isn't good enough for most applications. So the catalyst, there's some conversation about exactly how it works and some evidence for different mechanisms, but it brings the alcohol and the isocyanate together in such a way with such an energy that they can react quickly, and then the catalyst moves on to the next site, and then you've got polyurethane. Yeah, hydrofluoroolefin is a great new technology. Essentially zero global warming potential, zero ozone depletion, replacing the CFCs and HCFCs that have to be discontinued to prevent further ozone depletion and high global warming. This causes incompatibility in the polyol of the polyurethane formulation with the traditional catalysts that are used for those applications. It causes poor shelf life of the resin, it causes foam collapse, it just has a number of challenges that have to be worked through. What's become clear over the last few years, and Honeywell has done much of the work on this, is to find metal catalyst additives that provide good stability both in the resin and in the foam. Tin has been used quite a bit for this application, but there are toxicity concerns with tin. Just the convergence of our innovation with the hydrofluoroolefin has been really fortuitous and will allow formulators to make the greenest resins yet. More the latter than the former. So the question was whether we sort of saw this coming with the HFOs or whether this was something that developed by circumstance. And we were always trying to find, not always, the last 20 years, trying to find a water-stable bismuth-based curative. And we had made a bit of progress. One of our other ByCats, 8106, was the most hydrolytically stable bismuth-based catalyst available. It wasn't good enough to convince most people to switch their formulation away from the metal that they were using, whatever that may have been. But with HFO now, everybody has to reformulate. They have to pick a metal, and we're just in the right place at the right time, and sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. Yeah, blowing agents are required to make most foams, but especially spray foams. Spray foams are really a revolutionary technology for building efficiency. You can save several $100s a year on heating and cooling costs for a typical home by using spray foam, and it's the blowing agent inside the cells of the foam that provides a great deal of that insulation value and also provides the volume to the foam to minimize the amount that has to be used, both to save cost and the global environmental footprint. Yeah, the question is about the overall sort of environmental impact of the technology, of the polyurethane technology. And we were really looking at the toxicity of the metals, the opportunity to replace the halo alkanes, the CFCs and HCFCs, came along at the same time. And this is a combination of two different things. It's both consumer demand for minimal impact, both for the interiors of made spaces, but also to the world at large. And what's really impressive about the polyurethane industry is this continual drive to capitalize on the potential of the technology. And we're just at the beginning here, and use technologies to make the materials greener and have a lower footprint continually. So I think we'll see this as the state of the art for a while, and then there'll be something else that we can improve soon, and we hope to be part of that too. You asked about the SNAP rule and when that will start to take effect. I'm not an expert on this. We don't look at regulatory profile to drive our market effort. If we can use a technology to help meet a regulatory issue, so much the better. However, if there's a benefit to it, if there's a greater good than just meeting a regulation, that's really what we're trying to provide. So I think they're going to be rolled out over the next 4 to 7 years. Some are hitting sooner. In some parts of the world, they're going to be in effect at the end of this year. So it's imminent. It really is imminent. Right. So you asked what effect has HFO had on interest in our product line. I would say that once formulators solve a formulation problem, it's difficult and expensive and time-consuming. Adoption is not as fast as anyone would like. But once a formulation is set and it's effective, it's the result of an optimization process. So that's got to get its cost back. It's got to have time in the market, and you've got to be working on the next thing behind that. Now, regulation throws a wrench in that whole thing, and now you have to adapt and you have to reformulate maybe when you didn't want to. And if you're going to reformulate, you do that optimization. And like I said, all the people that work in this area are really smart and really effective, and they come to us and they ask, can we take a look at your catalyst? I think we've had several dozen sample requests just between yesterday and today. It's really something. Yeah, so we're taking a look at what qualities might change with the use of ByCat's 8840 and 8842. Right now, we're just in the beginning of this. We just filed our IP. Our patent application was just published in July. So we're really at the tip of the iceberg in terms of seeing what the optimization potential is for the ByCats. What we're seeing right now in most formulations, it's literally a drop-in for the existing metal catalyst. So the question was about what chemistry do we use to get the ByCats to work. Bismuth will react with water through acid-base chemistry and make an inactive form of bismuth that we have to avoid if we want this to work in any foams. We understand the chemistry of bismuth really well, and we know that it's acid-base chemistry and also coordination chemistry around the really big bismuth ion that gives it this affinity for water. So we found a ligand system that can wrap around the bismuth, protect it from water, yet still allow it to create the activated complex and make polyurethane. Really the technical difference between this and things that have come before is the fact that we've got some design in the molecular species that makes this work.